Hey everybody, it's Ryan here from Android Coliseum. Here to do my review here on the Huawei P10. Now, let's first talk about this box. Talk about presentation. Now, this is pretty cool. We can take this thing and just kind of hard to do without turning all the way here, but it folds open like that. That is pretty cool. It's got little magnets or something to hold it in place. But this is the Huawei P10. Now there's a P10 Plus if you like a little larger size, but that's up for you to decide. This guy will run you about $650 at Rogers outright. Now this is a review unit. This one came with a screen protector on it already, so I'm trying not to judge the display based on that, just because that means it's taking a bit more damage and abuse, and it's going to lock out the light a little bit there as well too. But as soon as I pick it up, I felt very familiar with this. Something was the rounded edges of it, the way everything just looked in the bottom here, something reminded me of this shape and feel. And it was my next, my iPhone 6S. This is my word. Like, these are almost identical phones, just the P10 is bigger. And cheaper. But I mean, it was like, it's identical in many ways, at least how they built it. I mean, I don't know, we can talk who made the parts for it or whatever, but I mean, that's neither here nor there to talk about. But again, very similar to it. So let's just talk about it. So I mean, this may be a device that maybe people have not heard much about, the Huawei, but it is a very good little device, actually. I gotta admit. I remember the Nexus 6P, they made a really nice phone for that. And that's that there. So first up, to continue with the sort of iPhone-esque feel, the standard launcher, and it uses EMUI, MU, or whatever you want to call it, sort of launcher ROM. It doesn't have a launcher or like the app tray, so you basically have an iPhone-style sort of launcher. So it's very similar to most iPhones out there. I've had a lot of people actually mistake it because it just looks so much like it. Even the little button down there looks like a recessed thing. Anyways, quick talk about it. What I did like about it is you can go into here, into the settings, and play around with, where was it, navigation keys. And I turn them on. So basically you can either have just that, the buttons here, bring up your stuff that way. But I've actually gotten very used to using this combined navigation key. So it's very similar to the Moto Z2 Play, where we had sort of the gestures on here. So the idea basically is long press it to bring up the menu, right? So if I go back into here, I can go into the navigation. Just lightly tap it to go back a screen. Long press it to go back to the home screen. Swipe it that way to bring up your multi. And then it's supposed to be slide off from the side to bring up Google Home. So sometimes it does work. That needs some issue there, I think. Oh, that's a little better. Slide up. It's not as fluid. And it does take getting used to, because I'm used to doing this slide, that kind of slide based on the Moto Z2 Play. But it's pretty cool little feature. I'm really liking that. To add into that the features of what you can do, I really liked, where was it, in gestures. Just gotta find the screen smart assistance. This floating dock here. So you can actually have this floating dock. If you remember, again, back to an iPhone, when you used to have this floating menu, you can bring it up and there's your buttons for navigation. So if your button broke or whatever, you always have that. So there's that kind of thing that too is very cool. I did say there was no app tray, but you can go into home style screen and change it to one with a drawer. So you can. So I did kind of lie there, but you do get to have that. The smart assistance feature got a lot of neat, cool features. Motion control was a really cool one. I'll flip to mute, pick it up to start answering. But this using knuckle gestures was pretty cool. So what you can actually do is knock twice, you take a screenshot, or you can say, I just want, oops, how do I do it? I did it before. Nope. Nah. Oh, did it earlier. I was able to do it earlier. There we go. Take a little, use a knuckle, and you can draw a little picture of what you want to take a screenshot of. That's pretty cool. You can knock twice to do a video. So pretty cool. I thought that was a pretty neat little feature. And speaking of screenshots, again, we have the option to do that button, and that brings it up. There's a scrolling screenshot you can do basically. So if you wanted to get not just this screen, but all the screen as well, which is kind of really cool, I thought. The split screen, if I want to just do a line across. Oops. Back. Use your knuckle to draw a line across your screen. Of course this worked earlier in the day. Anyways, it's not working now, but it did earlier. The idea basically, you draw a line across and it splits your screen into two different modes. That was pretty cool. Yeah. So those are sort of the extra added on features we get with this here. I didn't really notice too much more to play around with. There was that cool option to do app twin. That was very neat. So you can have 2 Facebook accounts running, 2 WhatsApp accounts coming. I guess if you install more apps that have that, like Instagram, etc., you could probably have that too. That was pretty neat. The bigger advantage I noticed in this is the fact that it's got a Leica lens. Leica, I'm not sure how you guys like to pronounce it. The Leica lens is very well known in photography circles, so that's pretty cool that it has that. Now it's got 2 lenses back there, but it's kind of hard to sort of determine which one am I using. So normal times you're using one lens for wide and one lens for zoom. This seems to be just wide aperture mode on or off. And then you can play around with the aperture level there. But I don't know if that's just a simulated amount or not. I didn't really notice much difference playing around with the 2 of them. Flip up here, we have our manual mode controls. Then back down, you go into auto. Slide out from the side here, we have different camera modes you can play around with. We can download even more. Slide out the other way, we can play around with our resolution settings. It's a 20 megapixel if you wanted to go that far. Kind of a touch to capture features, audio controls, so you can say capture. Oh, there's that feature. Double press the volume down. Can you take a picture? I think that's pretty cool. You also have the portrait mode option. Portrait mode, if you play around with it, you can adjust that artistic bokeh kind of feature. So again, kind of like the Pixel model, where you can try to blur out the background based on what it's playing around with there. So yeah, and there's the front-facing camera. Again, same idea. We can play around with the artistic bokeh if you want to do that. But a pretty cool little camera. I like some of the shots. I mean, they're not super fantastic, but I mean, I was actually pretty impressed for a $650 camera. I was expecting to get sort of moto quality, but this was pretty good quality for what you're paying for out of it. So I kind of really like that one. Yeah. Okay, so I'll have a full write-up on the website, tell you guys what I think about some more of the features. But I'm interested in what you think. A brand you may not have heard much about, the Huawei, putting out a pretty decent little device. Personally, I would have preferred the battery, the device to be a little bit bigger, but I mean, 3,200 milliamp hours does last a long way on this. So anyways, 10-minute video. I'll let you guys go. See you on the website.